Hello and welcome to the show. Today we're going to be making a toilet roll holder. It's going to be pretty simple, pretty basic box, and with a little bit of decorative edging around it. So we're going to set up. I've got some relatively thin 3-ply plywood and some thin MDF. So we'll start measure it out how we want it, and then get to cutting. So I've taken my tape measure and I've marked out little marks of where my line's going to be. I'm going to take my long ruler, or a straight edge as we call it, just simply line it up with the marks using my favourite little Inkwell pen. Makes a nice straight line. Hopefully you can see that. Can't really, can you? How's that look? That looks better. Nice straight clean line. And that's going to be our cut line. So I'll measure it out and we'll get the cutting. Okay, so on the face piece, I've got this channel. Now that's so you can put your hand in there and pull out the roll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that out first before I cut the actual pieces of the box out. So I have it marked out there, and I'm going to just simply use my jigsaw here to cut down the channel, and make a nice little turn right back. So let's put our apron on. Let's put our safety goggles and our headphones on, and let's start cutting. Okay, so whenever you're using a power tool, you always make sure you're wearing your earmuffs and safety goggles. Make sure you always be careful with the cord, because you can always cut straight through it. And then there's no fun. Alright. Slow and steady wins the race. Makes a nice straight cut. Make sure you keep your hands away from the blade. Now I'll just pull the work out a little bit so I can cut it in. These Irwin quick clamps are my favourite tools. You quickly unclamp them with this little trigger, and you tighten it like that, and they grip on super tight, super well, super quick. Let's get back to it. Done. That's our little channel done. Now we'll get our table saw set up, and we'll cut the sides of the walls. So we've got our table saw here, all set up and ready to go. We're gonna take our fence. This is designed to make sure a bit of wood's nice clean cut. And we're going to put it on our little measurement. Just double check. The measurements are. We're looking at 13.5 centimetres. So that's about, yeah. You want to give it a little bit extra because of the thickness of the blade. Here's our little clamps. Fantastic clamps. I use them for everything. When I first got this quick little table saw, it had these little screw nuts to tighten the fence. It never really worked too well. Didn't keep the fence straight. So I decided to get rid of the screws, just replace it with my two little clamps. So safety goggles, earmuffs, and if you guys are wearing headphones, I turn the volume down. We've got a little piece of wood here, flick it on. That's our face. All done. So now we're going to do the back, and then we're going to readjust the fence to do the two sides. And now the back is the exact same thickness as the front, so it makes it pretty easy. Now front and back are the same size. Cool. Looking great. Looking great so far. So, a bit of dust. So now we're going to readjust it to our 10 centimetre mark, which is pretty easy. Just take this, slide it. Awesome. Let's get back to cutting. Awesome. So, I'll get this out of the way, get my little nail gun out, and we'll do the test fit. So I've decided before I nail them all together, I'm going to give everything a quick sand and seal coat, a bit of seal paint. So we'll get sanding, give it more quick sand. the insides of the paint, and then we'll now let's start nailing together. Now we're only going to be painting the insides so far. So we'll grab our paint and prime them all, and we'll get everything ready for nailing once they dry. Okay, so here we have our sealed bits of wood. The inside's nice and sealed, the outside still needs to be done. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our constructions and we're going to start putting it all together. So I'm going to be using my little battery powered nail gun. This is brilliant. Lasts a good few thousand nails before dropping a bar of battery. So all we've got to do is line things up and bang bang bang. Make sure we've got the right pieces. The hardest part about doing the nails is holding on to multiple things at once. So we're going to use the edge of the table as a little guide for us. Sorry you guys can't really see much. Gonna need a I wasn't holding it enough. I need to whack it in. Cool. It's one done. This is pretty difficult actually, using this nail gun. I can't hold it properly, so the nails aren't going all the way through. That's fine. That's what we've got a little hammer for. Should hold it this way. Oops. Blow through. Awesome. So that's one half done. Now I've had a bit of a blow through. A blow through is just when the nail goes on an angle and pops out. But that's an easy fix. Just chop that off with a little nail clipper, and we're going to paint the surface anyway so we can fill any holes. Well, the inside seems pretty good. No blow throughs on the inside. So let's do the rear. Do the rear first. Once we get a little system going, it goes a lot smoother. It's all lined up. Now bang. Straight through. No blowout. Perfect. So yeah, it's all practice, practice, practice. The more you use a tool, the more acquainted you get with it, and the more efficient you get with it. Awesome. Last side, and we've got a box. Bingo, bango, bongo. I don't want to leave the Congo. And when you put the nail on, you're gonna push it into place, and you always make sure your fingers are away, because if that blows through, you can do some serious damage to your money makers. So always make sure your fingers are not in the path of the nail. somehow I've actually managed to have the channel the same size as my table. Makes it quite handy. Right, it's done. Now we're going to put a bottom on it and we'll work on the decorative surround. Give you guys a closer view. Cool. So we'll work on the decorative surround, put some feet on it, give the whole thing a paint, and we're ready to go. Well, this is what we have so far. I've put a framing around the edges of the I don't know what you'd call it, a rack? Yeah, rack. I suppose I'd call it a rack. The inside's first coated, the outside hasn't been touched yet, but you can see here that channel is perfectly there, so you can put your hand in a toilet roll, lift it right out. Fresh toilet roll for the pandemic. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give the whole outside a sand, and then I'm going to paint the whole outside with a primer coat first, which will highlight any holes or dents and scratches. Then I'm going to fill it with some just paint filler, just give it another sand, and then 2 top coats, and it should look pretty good. Right, so it's all done. I'm not too happy with it because we had a bit of a COVID lockdown, so I wasn't able to get the wood I wanted to. So I mainly just used scrap plywood. The problem with plywood is that there's a lot of pores, wood grains, and all kinds of stuff you got to deal with. So once COVID's over and all the shops are back open, I'm gonna go to my local hardware store, get some MDF, and probably redo it. But for now, it's all done, it's all finished. Hope you guys like it. And again, if you like this video, like it, subscribe, and tune in for next time, because we're in lockdown, so I'll have a lot of time to do stuff. My next project I'm thinking of is I'm going to turn chalice with my wood lathe, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thank you once again for inviting me into your home. Goodbye. Have a good night.